the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Day of the Dead. But don't break out the sugar skulls, I mean the 1985 George A. Romero zombie flick. By this point in the zombie apocalypse of this series, humans have become the minority, and in many cases, can't be found at all. Day follows a completely isolated group of survivors consisting of scientists and the soldiers assigned to protect them. These divergent groups have natural tension and lend themselves to a lot of ideological debate, and I mean a lot. While Romero inserted plenty of commentary in Dawn, in Day the dialogue becomes an entry-level philosophy class discussion. The first half especially has a lot of scenes that are mostly just arguments, but the thoughts being explored are interesting, even if the acting isn't always up to snuff. In my younger days, I thought this movie was boring, especially compared to the zany romp-around of Dawn. Whereas Dawn had constant movement and action, Day is much more pensive and occasionally pontificacious affair. Many critics and contemporary audience members felt the same way, and Day of the Dead suffered from these comparisons to its predecessor. But as an adult, I've grown to respect the movie's somber tone. It's not meant to be as fun as Dawn. By this point, things are too desperate for all that. Nowadays, I'm grateful that Romero didn't just make the same movie again. And thankfully, since its release, Day has gotten more of the appreciation it deserves. Day of the Dead was released 7 years after Dawn, which was successful enough to immediately ensure a third of the Dead installment. First though, Romero wanted to make a couple of other films. The horror anthology Creepshow, which I'd love to look at sometime, and a movie about a Renaissance fair on motorcycles? What? I'll have to check that out. These films were part of a deal with United Film Distribution Company, who originally offered Romero a $7 million budget for Day. But the lackluster performance of Night Riders and Romero's insistence on releasing Day unrated caused the budget to be cut by more than half. And with only $3 million at his disposal, Romero had to drastically downsize his original script.
It was just bigger. It was bigger. I had boats.
Yeah, it was Raiders of the Lost Ark with zombies.
Romero was fine with the revisions because it allowed him to retain creative control and release the film unrated to make the most of his makeup team, which not only saw the return of Tom Savini, but also the start of a few artists who would become special effects legends. Together, they gave us the goriest depiction of zombies yet, festering, nasty, and constantly hungry, always looking for another meal behind the next door. Of course, we as people get hungry too, and since we can't just eat whatever human flesh is around, it helps to have services like HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers meal kits directly to your door and makes choosing dinner a simple experience. It's so easy a zombie could do it. Don't shamble your way to the grocery store, save all that time and avoid food waste, with pre-portioned ingredients that give you exactly what you need. HelloFresh's recipes take about 30 minutes to make, with quick and easy options that get it down to 20. You can also customize your plan by doing low-cal, carb-smart, pescatarian, or vegetarian, for those of us who don't want to go on the zombie diet. All of these options feature fresh produce sourced directly from farmers, and are shipped in packaging that's almost entirely made from recyclable content. Go to HelloFresh.com and use my code 12DEADMEAT to get 12 free meals including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com, promo code 12DEADMEAT for 12 free meals with free shipping. Just a note, in case you missed the memo though, the sponsorship is because there's no version of this video that could get ads on it. But I still have to avoid age restrictions or else YouTube will punish my channel in the algorithm, a word that I hate saying. Because of that, the most intense score will still have to get blurred. I can't run afoul of YouTube's ever-increasingly stringent guidelines. I'm really sorry, and I hate doing this, but I'm working under the constraints imposed upon me here. Blame Tom Savini for making such awesome gore. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Let's get to the kills. The movie begins in a sparse white room. Looks like it's the calendar room. Aw, we missed Halloween. Oh, month's over, lady. Better flip the page. Just kidding, zombies say it's Halloween forever! This opening was a nightmare of Dr. Sarah Bowman's, played by Lori Cardell, who hailed from Erie, Pennsylvania. And if that last name sounds familiar, it's because her dad was Chilly Billy Cardell, the real-life broadcaster who played a reporter in Night of the Living Dead. Romero cast Lori after seeing her in a play, and she gives the best performance of the film easily. Sarah's on a search mission for other human survivors with a soldier named Miguel, a radio operator named McDermott, and a cautious helicopter pilot named John.
I'll set us down, but I won't leave my seat and I'll keep the engine running.
They go in for a landing at Fort Myers, the biggest city around, with the film's Floridian setting buttressed by a Caribbean-inspired score. The The music in Romero's original trilogy is so interesting to me. Night has those dramatic cues, sometimes gothic, sometimes sci-fi, all chosen by Romero from the HaiQ library. Dawn of the Dead had goblin-making music for it, but many of us are only familiar with the American theatrical cut, which replaced a lot of those songs with more stock music, this time chosen by Romero from the DeWolf library. Those tracks are peculiar, to say the least, and are understandably divisive, even though I enjoy them. For Day, Romero had a composer in John Harrison, who was actually just on the kill count. Dude played Screwdriver Zombie in Dawn. He also scored Creepshow, directed a miniseries version of Dune, and wait, what the fuck? Wrote Disney's Dinosaur? What was this guy's life? Anyway, his score is completely original and cohesive, a first for a film in this series. Personally, I love it, but again, not everyone was a fan.
I didn't realize that there were people that absolutely hated it. I would have killed them if I had.
The bird lands and Sarah heads through desolation with Miguel, who looks for people while singing M1A1 by Gorillaz. Doesn't seem like anyone is here though, besides this gator trying to open a checking account. He must want to keep all this free money safe from bastard skellies. A newspaper screams that there is one more thing they'll find here. Well, actually, I'm sorry, two. The living dead and a title card! Also, there's a dead body in the street, and I've gotta count it, cause that's my job. These zombies look much more consistent and, good than the blue-faced zombies from Dawn. They also make noise now.
You can hear it over the engine.
Jesus, Mary, Joseph.
The best zombie of the sequence is that title card zombie, nicknamed Dr. Tongue. He's actually a glorified hand puppet made from a foam sculpture of Tom Savini. His jawless state came about because of an accident with a drill. I never would have guessed this thing was a puppet. Those animatronic eyes are incredible. With nothing but Zeds around, the survivors fly back into the Everglades to their fenced-in encampment. This little bit of safety's not enough to soothe Miguel, who's about to fall apart because of the way they have to live.
We're all collapsing. This whole fucking unit is collapsing, everybody except you. I know you're strong, all right, so what?
Anthony DeLeo Jr. gives a soapy, histrionic performance as Miguel, and since he worked method, he had to keep himself away from the jovial camaraderie on set. Bummer. In this post-dawn world, the only living humans around are the 12 people living in this underground outpost. 3 are scientists, including Sarah, 2 are support crew, Pilot John and Radio Op McDermott, and the other 7 are all military, including Miguel and these 2 assholes, Steele and Rickles. The underground base they live in is the perfect setting for this movie's darker tone, though it can feel jarring and claustrophobic after the skylit mall and open fields of